It seems like Clark just wants to be a US superstar. She doesn't want to be a global superstar. She seems like a homely lady. She just wants to be around the Midwest. She just wants to be around family. She's not into exploring the world. And she doesn't need to. She's earning enough money. She is throwing away probably the greatest opportunity a female athlete has ever had if she does not exploit it. Caitlin Clark, an absolutely transcendent player. Some people feel like she doesn't deserve all these accolades and all this money that she's earning, that she's just a result of white privilege and racism and all the other isms. But is that really true? Does she deserve all this? Is she as good as people think she is? Let's find out.
Some athletes are good. Some athletes are great. But very rarely does an athlete make such an impact that they begin to transcend their sport. You know, those times where an athlete is creating so much buzz, don't even follow the sport, know their name. These athletes hardly ever come around. But when they do, you know something special is going on. Growing up, I used to skate, so of course I know who Tony Hawk is. But my mom also knows who Tony Hawk is. In a sport that tends to only retain the most die-hard fans, Usain Bolt was so incredible that he became a household name. And it also helped that his name sounds like he was destined to be the fastest man of all time.
The guy basically had the best possible name for a track runner. Basically the best possible name.
Person to name any golfer, and they'll instantly say Tiger Woods, followed by no one else. There are very few athletes that reach this level of popularity, where they almost single-handedly lift their sport to new heights.
Oh,
and right
finally.
Now, women's basketball is home to an athlete that may just be next in line to be one of these transcendent athletes. Caitlin Clark has only been in the WNBA for one season, and she is already the face of the league, drawing in more fans, viewers, money.
Don't tell that to some of those racist OG WNBA fans, original WNBA fans. I call them racist because some part of me feels, and I'm not even saying that all these people are black people. No, I'm not even. This is not a color thing. I'm not calling them racist because of their color. I'm calling them racist because I have a feeling. I have a very huge feeling that if Caitlin was black, those people wouldn't feel the same way. And I know the easy explanation to it is always to blame her fans. That is always it. But we all know that is just a bunch of rubbish. We all know that they would like to hate Caitlin, but they don't want to look like assholes. So they just go to the low-hanging fruit, which is her fans, which you can just basically just generalize it. You don't have to pinpoint anybody, just say her fans. But we all know who they don't like. It is that girl. We know that. We know that is the person that they don't like. And all season, we've had people, viewers, NBA players, former NBA players saying the same thing. And all these WNBA women or media people or OG fans will come out and act like, oh, nobody has said that we hate her. Obviously, you dumb. We all know you're not going to come out and say, I hate that girl. You're not going to say that. We know that. We just look at your actions, and your actions speak louder than your words. And it's cool. If you don't like someone, it's fine. It's fine. I just feel like if she was black, it wouldn't be the case. Take for example, Juju Watkins, great player. I actually think she may have a higher ceiling, but let's just see how she would look because she has only played 1 year in college. She just signed one of the biggest shoe deals in women's basketball. I've not heard any backlash. I've not heard anything like, oh, she hasn't earned it. Oh, she hasn't done this. Nothing. I've not heard anything about any of that. Everything has been congratulations. This. No talk about has she earned it? How is she getting a shoe when there are better players in the WNBA that have not gotten a shoe and blah, blah, blah. You see? These people are hypocrites. I would even respect them if they stood on business. Any player that hasn't earned it, you have the same opinion. But obviously, we all know that that won't be the case. It won't be the case for Juju Watkins because she's black. And it won't be the case for Paige Beckers. Because Paige Beckers has basically come out and apologized for being white. I know she didn't technically apologize, but to me, that's just how it sounds. And until Clark finally does the same thing, this will continue. Whatever deal she gets is going to be some controversy. Whatever thing she does is going to be some controversy. Whatever thing happens to her is going to be some controversy. Until she bends the knee, this is going to continue. And I hope Clark knows that. I do hope she knows that all that is happening here are these women and all these people trying to bring her down to their level. Because even if she does what they want her to do, the goalposts will just be moved all the time.
Drawing in more fans, viewers, money than ever before. But it hasn't come without harsh criticism, some of it targeted at the disproportionate admiration and attention being given to just one player, and some of this criticism claiming she simply isn't nearly as dominant as we are led to believe, a product of the sports media machine pushing their golden child. Is Caitlin Clark really as good as advertised? Or have her talents been overblown for the sake of the WNBA and the future of women's basketball? NCAA Basketball Championship accomplished something completely unprecedented. Throughout the game, they drew in nearly 19 million viewers, a number that shattered every NCAA women's record, exceeded the viewership of any men's tournament game over the last half decade, and even surpassed every single NBA Finals game since 2018. The game was a groundbreaking spectacle, with people who had never even tuned into a single basketball game in their life turning on the TVs to see who would be crowned champions. The majority of this flocking attributed to one player, Caitlin Clark. Unbelievable range and record-breaking performances proving to be must-watch TV. The true testament of her greatness and impact, all of the doubt and borderline detest that quickly followed her ascent. Some fans and players, both past and present, questioning if her talents would translate to the next level and if the horde of fans she inspired would follow. They did.
I have been following the WNBA. I've not really been following it the way I thought I would follow it. I was really, really excited. After the draft was great. Everything was great. The vibes was great. And obviously you understand that veterans are going to look at young players some kind of way. Especially young players are 100 times, 1,000 times richer than them. I understand that it's normal human nature. But there was a level of disdain, a level of pettiness, a level of jealousy that I saw in this league that just turned me off. It turned me off, and the only thing I was interested in was just checking out the box scores that in games that Clark was involved. That was all. That was all I did all this season. I followed her career, but I didn't watch any game. I watched some highlights. I watched some clips. But I was just turned off. And I'm pretty sure I am not the only person that feels this way. I'm pretty sure about that. These ladies absolutely ruined an opportunity. Now, obviously, in their mind, the league is still growing, so it doesn't matter. They don't care. The NBA is always there to catch them if they actually really fall on their face. So they don't really have any reason to think of the big picture. They don't have any reason for that. I mean, look at the Olympics. That was a layup decision. Easy layup decision. That the WNBA or whatever, women's basketball, I know some people are not blaming, some people are saying, don't blame the WNBA for that, it's women's whatever. Whoever was in charge of all that stuff, Don Staley and the rest of them, that Two-Face, because I call her Two-Face, she did that political statement in that national title game because she won. If they had lost, she would have blamed racism the way she did the previous year. So let's just cut it out. Anyway, I haven't seen a level of that kind of, like, this is a sport. I just want to enjoy basketball. I just want to be entertained. I don't have time for all this intersectional whatever that Americans have to. Like, I'm not interested in that. I'm sorry. Those issues may be important to you, but it's not important to majority of people that are trying to watch the sport. So trying to shove that in people's faces is actually really dumb, to be honest with you. And people feel like, I also feel Clark doesn't know it. She doesn't know how big she is. She doesn't. She doesn't know how big she is outside the United States. She doesn't know that. I'll tell you guys something. Caitlin Clark, she could easily go on a world tour with maybe her teammates or players that she likes and she picks. And at the end of the world tour, each of these players could easily get $1 million. They could easily earn $1 million if she does that. Maybe get Nike to, like, I'm not even sure about Nike, because Nike are just, I don't know, Nike are one of these companies that are just trying to appease some people or whatever. Just get some, what, so it's like Eon. I'm sure Eon will be down with it. Like, I've never heard of that that kind of company in my life until the WNBA. A company like Eon or any other company can sponsor this whole thing, and because they'll get their money back. They will get their money back. But it seems like Clark just wants to be a US superstar. She doesn't want to be a global superstar. From what I'm seeing, she seems like a homely lady. She just wants to be around the Midwest. She just wants to be around family, and all that kind of a thing. She's not into exploring the world, and she doesn't need to. She's earning enough money. But I'm just saying, she is throwing away probably the greatest opportunity a female athlete has ever had. She's throwing it away if she does not exploit it. That's just my opinion.
WNBA debut attracted the most viewers of any WNBA game in the history of ESPN. Indiana's home game attendance jumped from an average of 4,000 fans last season to an average of over 17,000 fans this season, a more than 400% increase in just a single year. Transactions in the Fever's team store jumped over 700%, and WNBA viewership has skyrocketed to levels that even Clark's biggest advocates could not foresee. Game 4 of last year's WNBA Finals drew in more viewers than any WNBA game over the last 2 decades, with 728,000 fans tuning in for the game, living up to the hype as one of the most anticipated.
Look at this. Last season's finals. And to be fair, they're going to have a higher number than this. And obviously, they're going to tap themselves on the back. The league was always growing. We didn't need Clark. But let's be real. If Clark wasn't involved, I actually think this all started with the Clark phenomenon. Even though she wasn't in the WNBA yet, people started getting interested in women's basketball. So, even though some of those eyes that were following Clark in college, just say, okay, let's just check out the place that she's going to go next. That's what I think. And that's what happened. But obviously, nobody's going to admit that. Everybody just feels like, I've heard people try to say, why didn't Kelsey Plum, do what Clark is doing in terms of popularity? She was great in college. She had that record before Clark broke it. Things like that. People have just been trying to look for reasons as to why this lady is popular. They just don't understand this. They have to come up with every excuse whatsoever. But they don't just want to say the truth. Some people just have the it factor. Look at Michael Jordan. This man has retired, almost 30 years now. And the guy is probably still popular than all NBA players currently, including LeBron James. He's still more popular than them. If MJ comes in here and LeBron comes in here, the aura, even me that is watching it, I've never met MJ in my life. Just seeing him on screen, the aura that he carries is just different. Some people just have that it factor. You see it on YouTube all the time. Some people will be like, what is this guy doing? His content is boring, horrible production. How does he get views? It factor. You can't explain it. You can try to look for all the excuses you want to look for, like the normal ones, like she is white, she is straight, and all that rubbish. Or you can just look at what is right in front of you. There is just something about her. I sat down today and watched Clark on TikTok. on TikTok with Lexi Hall. I watched Clark on TikTok. I think like 3 minutes. I can't even believe that. I sat down and watched that. It's not as if she was doing anything. She was not doing anything. They were not doing anything important. But I sat down there and watched it. When I finished watching it, when the video was over, I was confused. What happened to me? What did I do? What's wrong with me? That is what this girl is doing. This girl could make me watch golf. If she goes professional in golf, she could make me watch golf. There's just something about this lady. But instead of the WNBA to try and capitalize on it, they're just in their feelings.
Games in the history of the league. This season, there were 22 regular season games that eclipsed that mark. 21 of them drawing in over 1 million viewers. Even crazier, 18 of those 22 games featured Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. But the most revealing evidence of the now dubbed Caitlin Clark effect is the fact that WNBA viewership has nearly caught up with NBA viewership in 2024. On ESPN,
crazy.
NBA games averaged 1.56 million viewers this past season. WNBA games averaged 1.2 million viewers, a number that was inconceivable just a couple years ago. But Caitlin Clark's soaring popularity has been a point of contention for many fans of the WNBA, frustrated that in a league that is bursting with talent right now, it's all just being over.
Boring talents. Yeah, they're talented. That's cool. But they're boring. I'm sorry. They're boring. I don't want to be harsh. Let me not say what I want to say.
Overlooked for the poster child of women's basketball. Do Caitlin's abilities actually warrant the hype? In just her rookie season, Caitlin broke over a dozen league and franchise records, including the WNBA's single-season assist record. She set the record for the most assists in a single game. She received the most all-star votes of any player in WNBA history, set a new league record for double-doubles by a guard in a single season, scored the most points of any rookie in league history, and became the first rookie in WNBA history to put up a triple-double. Just this past week, it was announced that Caitlin made first-team All-WNBA, which makes her the first rookie to make first-team All-League.
By the way, that was for AP. Let's see what the WNBA one is going to be. We all saw what happened with the Rookie of the Year. She was unanimous Rookie of the Year for AP. But obviously, some jealous, petty person voted for Angel Reese for Rookie of the Year. So we all saw how that turned out. So we don't know, like, that was this for AP. Let's hope that some of those jealous people that are voting. And the thing is, the votes are anonymous. So these people are free to do whatever nonsense that they want to do without any repercussions. So I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't make first team, unfortunately. Whatever.
Since Candace Parker did it 16 years ago. Turns out those awe-inspiring performances from her days in college did in fact translate to the pros. Because even against the best defense in the world, she is pretty much an offensive cheat code. Throughout her rookie season, with points and assists, Clark generated 45.2%.
And this is while being guarded like she was the GOAT. I know WNBA people, players, media people, the whole circle, they don't want to, give Clark the credit that she deserves. But the way they guarded her, you would think that Clark was GOAT reincarnated. Like, she played 20 years ago and she was the GOAT. Like, she was the unanimous GOAT. And she died and came back and started playing. That was the way they were guarding this lady. And she was a rookie.
Of all points produced by the Indiana Fever. For perspective, she has a larger offensive load than every single player in the NBA last season, outside of Luka Doncic. And she's a rookie. But to really understand Caitlin's unparalleled offensive prowess, here are the 200 most productive offensive seasons in WNBA history on a scale of points generated per game. And among these seasons, you'll find the greatest players in the league's history. Lisa Leslie, Tamika Catchings, Cheryl Swoops, Candace Parker, and Angel McCoughtry have tons of seasons littered throughout this chart. Climb towards the top and you'll find seasons from Asia Wilson and Cynthia Cooper. But with 4 of the top 10 most productive offensive seasons in WNBA history, is Diana Taurasi, her 2006 campaign being the best of them all, producing 33.9 points per game. And then there's Caitlin Clark, who is already the most potent offensive player in the history of the WNBA in her rookie season. Women's hoops has never seen a player like this. And as absurd as her numbers are, how she puts up these numbers is just as incredible. Here are the
you could even say, look at that. I was even talking about its factor. But just by that alone, shouldn't that be enough reason to understand why she's popular? Shouldn't that be enough reason? Great players in their prime, and you see Clark in a rookie season having an offensive season of that caliber. Seriously. So I would think that is enough reason to see why this lady, she's not a good defender. I can accept that. So you could say, okay, she's not a two-way player. Okay. That is why she won't be the best. Whatever. But that has nothing to do with entertainment. It doesn't. So when you have a player, casual fans don't care about defense. Let's just be real. Yeah, defense helps win championships, but casual fans don't care. Casual fans want to be entertained. They want to be entertained. So offensively, she's the biggest offensive engine in WNBA history. So why wouldn't casual fans like her? Look at the NCAA. She's number 1 all time in terms of scoring and number 3 in assists. How does that even happen? Most of the time, someone that passes a lot will not score a lot of points because those two statistics kind of go with each other, because it means that you're not taking lots of shots, right? But the fact that she leads the NCAA all time in points and also 3rd in assists, that wasn't enough reason to understand why casual fans love her. Like, these women are crazy.
Players who attempt the longest three-pointers on average in the NBA last season.
I saw
with
this stat
Trae Young
somewhere.
leading the league with the deepest three-point attempts with an average distance of 27.94 feet, and Damian Lillard and Stephen Curry just a shade closer. Despite it still being worth the same amount of points, the longest shooters in the NBA are stepping 4 feet outside the three-point line on their attempts. But even amongst the deepest shooters in the world, Caitlin Clark is on her own island, because throughout the 2024 regular season, her average three-point distance was 28.1 feet, which is not only further than any player in the NBA and in the WNBA, it is a whopping 6 feet out from the WNBA three-point line. Has Caitlin Clark been worth all the attention and hype that has engulfed her over the last 2 years? Yeah, I'd say so. She didn't just have a successful rookie season. She had one of the best rookie seasons in recent basketball history. And this isn't just to her benefit, but the benefit of the entire WNBA. Because the seismic boost in the WNBA's popularity this season is not limited to those turning on the games to see what she'll do next. It can also be found in the fans actually showing up to the games. Looking at a chart of the average attendance of WNBA games since the inception of the league in 1997 will tell you a story of a league that has seen their fair share of good days and bad ones. In 1997, there were only 8 WNBA teams, all with really healthy attendance numbers due to the excitement of a new women's league. The league quickly expanded to 16 teams, with a handful of teams emerging as...
And that's what they're trying to do now. They're trying to, expand again to 16. This has always been the problem. I've been seeing all that everyone watches women's sport. That is a lie. Everybody doesn't watch. I know it's just a saying, but the fact of the matter is, without Clark, you don't have views. You can see how it is in the playoffs. Outside of Clark games, only one game was over 1 million. And that 1 million was because that game was just after a Clark game. So, I just think these women are delusional. A lot of people that are in the WNBA are delusional. The people in the media in the WNBA are delusional. At the end of the day, the women's basketball is kind of boring. I'm just being honest. It's kind of boring, and Clark just brings that excitement. So I wouldn't I understand, take it to 16 teams, but I've been hearing things like, oh, let them take it to 20 teams. You know what's going to happen? When Clark retires, 10 of those teams, if you take it to 20 or 25, let's just say, 10 of them are going to go under. Just like it happened before. I mean, just be modest. Just be modest. Fit your league between that period in the summer where other leagues have, gone off air. Don't expand it too much. Just keep it there. And hope that it stays even after Clark goes. Hope that it stays the course instead of going out of proportion and just expanding all over the place.
Fan favorites, like the Washington Mystics, the Phoenix Mercury, and the LA Sparks. But with a massive league expansion came a nearly equal retraction. Many teams folding along the way, such as the Soul, Fire, Miracle, and Sting. But it wasn't until COVID where the league's once steady fan base was wiped out. In 2020, there were no fans in attendance due to COVID protocols, and when play resumed in 2021, attendance was at an all-time low. A number that has been quickly rising in the few years since the pandemic, but has specifically seen an explosion this season, where for the first time, league attendance was higher than the WNBA's inaugural season. The Indiana Fever seeing the highest attendance numbers in league history, nearly selling out every single home game. In a league where attracting the casual fan has been a seemingly insurmountable task, Caitlin Clark has defied the odds by not only drawing in new fans for her and her team, but rising the tides for the entire league. This is completely unprecedented, at least in the WNBA it is. But there was a time when the NBA was facing similar struggles until a pair of players showed up and changed everything. After the success of the Celtics in the 1960s...
Anyway, I'm not going to watch this part. We all know how that turned out for the NBA. Look, the thing is, I understand human emotion. If especially women, I know women don't like hearing this. Anytime a man says women are more emotional, you'll be called a misogynist. But if you are a man watching this and you have ever been with a woman, dated a woman or whatever, you would know that this is kind of true. It may sound sexist, but it's just the truth. I don't want to talk about it too much, but it's just a shame. It's just a shame how things have turned out, like the vitriol. You could see these people, even when they're trying to praise Clark, they cannot help themselves but add another person's name. They can't just praise Clark and just end it there. They have to add someone else's name to try and help use Clark's name and promote that person. And I guess that is a good business decision. I mean, even the commissioner said one person can't hold a league. So maybe they're trying to make other players get, popular as well. But at the end of the day, you can't force popularity. They have promoted Asia Wilson this season. Like, even me that was not following the league, I was seeing Asia Wilson every fucking way on social media. They have promoted and promoted and promoted, pushing her down our throats. And she's just unlikable. Her game is boring like a motherfucker. She's like Tim Duncan. Great player, great defender, winning player. But she's boring. And her attitude off the field is even worse. It's even worse. Anytime she's not given what she thinks she deserves, it's about complaining and complaining and complaining. I mean, what the hell? Anyway, unfortunately, Clark has brought me into this league. I wish it did not exist. If I'm being honest, I'll probably make a video about that some other time. I hate that she brought me into this cesspool. I really hate it. And it's a shame. It's a shame. So let's just see how it turns out. I just hope Clark is able to win a couple of titles, earn as much money as possible. Like, she should stop this modesty nonsense that she's doing. She doesn't understand how popular she is. She needs to start earning her money. That deal that she signed with Nike was a rubbish deal. Like, maybe there's something that we don't know. Maybe there's some, when she sells the shoes, maybe she'll get 20%. I don't know. We don't know the exact percentage. Maybe in the back end, she's going to earn way more money. But that deal on its own, 28 million, It's an underpay. Clark could easily have gotten a 5-year deal, 100 million. Easily. She is worth that. And some part of me feels like her or her management do not understand that. And it's really annoying because no female athlete has ever been in a position to be a potential billionaire. Maybe except Serena Williams. But even she is not a billionaire. Anyway, see you on the next one.